In the land of the free where the blacks enslaved, 3/5 of a man, I believe's the phrase. In the land of the free where the blacks enslaved.
Hey, what's going on? This is Madam 81. I am back with you again. This time I want to speak on an article that I seen in the Washington Post. It has ran on some major news outlets, and I just wanted to speak on it and give my opinion on it. The article says at least 24 officers in Memphis injured in Memphis unrest at the United States Marshals fatally shoot young black man. Why am I not surprised? This is the same thing that keeps on happening. But I will reserve my opinion until after the initial video is shown and I read the article. Without further ado, I am going to play the article. This is not the article that I want, so I'm going to come back to that. It says this article is done by Timothy Bella and Marisha Lati. This was June 13th. News that the U.S. Marshal Service Office have fatally shot a young black man in Memphis triggered chaotic protests late Wednesday that caused widespread property damage and left at least 24 police officers injured by thrown concrete rocks. Let's be clear, the aggression shown towards our officers and deputies tonight was unwarranted, said Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland. Other local politicians, though, urge patience and demand a thorough investigation into the killing. The community wants answers into tonight's incident, said State Republican Antonio Parkinson, who called for a complete transparency in the investigation of tonight's officer-involved shooting. The shooting happened around 7 Wednesday night in Frazier, a neighborhood less than 5 miles north of downtown Memphis. The man killed, who was identified by family members and local officials as 20-year-old Brandon Weber, was being served multiple felony warrants by Marshal Service's Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force and other law enforcement agencies, according to police. Weber rammed into the marshal's car with his own several times and then displayed a weapon, according to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. I'm not going to butcher their name. A spokeswoman for the Bureau said in a news conference earlier Thursday that it was unclear how many marshals had fired at Weber. I find it very convenient is that when it involves a person of color and they reel them full of bullets, they can't determine how many bullets was fired. But I'm going to go on. This remains a very fluid situation, told the Washington Post. The Bureau said in a statement that it would not name any officers involved in the shooting, and the U.S. Marshal Service said it would not release names until all investigations were over. The Memphis Police Department said none of its officers were involved. Demetric Skinner, a cousin of Weber's, and Shelly County Commissioner Tammy Sawyer each said that Weber was shot as many as 20 times before dying in his family's front yard, according to the Daily Mythic. Yolanda Holmes, his aunt, told the Daily Mythic, I forgot it, I apologize if I'm butchering that the family was trying to confirm what exactly happened. This is crazy, Skinner, his cousin told the outlet. Earlier on Wednesday night, a man posted a video on Twitter of him confronting police officers who had formed a barricade in the streets. "My cousin down there, laying in the street," the man yelled, "laying in the yard." As night fell and the news of the shooting began to spread throughout Frazier's, protests broke out, resulting in a standoff between authorities and hundreds of inflamed residents. On one side, police shoulder to shoulder, holding riot shields. On the other were angry crowd, shouting at officers. Some protesters hurled bottles, rocks, and bricks at the police. In one instance captured on social media, protesters used a chair to smash out the back window of a police car, and another man appeared to spit on officers. I am going to play this video. Warning, explicit language is used in the video, so please be advised. And here is the video. All right. Here is another one from another person that tweeted it out. Another video. Please be advised. Discretion is advised. I have not seen this video, and I am watching it as I am recording it for the first time. So please, discretion is advised. Okay, continuing with the article. Police eventually fired tear gas into the area, which dispersed the crowd. A late night rainstorm further impelled the streets, basically they cleared the streets. Police retreat under a cloud of tear gas as protesters dispersed from the scene of a standoff. In a statement released earlier Thursday, Strickland said that at least 24 officers and deputies were injured, with 6 taken to the hospital for treatment. He added that 2 journalists were also injured. WREG's Luke Jones said he was knocked to the ground after a man ran up and punched him in the head, while Rebecca Butcher of Local 24 News tweeted that her photographer was also hit by someone in the crowd. Strickland said multiple police cars were also vandalized. A concrete wall outside a business was torn down and windows were broken at the local fire station. The mayor praised first responders. I am impressed by their professionalism and their incredible restraint as they endured the concrete rocks being thrown at them and people spitting on them, he said in a Facebook post. Community and national leaders called for healing and justice. The NAACP said it was closely monitoring reports out of Frazier. Sawyer, a Democratic and progressive activist who is running for mayor in October election, pleaded for the public not to pass judgment on Frazier without asking a community how it feels to mourn their youth over and over again. What do people do when their pain and trauma? What do people do with their pain and trauma when it gets to be too much? When a city has ignored them, when their loss is too great, and they no longer yell at the sky, she asks. But sadness and anger serves as an overwhelming feeling for community activist Hunter Dempster. He told the Memphis that Wednesday night shooting should serve as another reminder of a broken public safety system. Every time I turn around, I see another person with tears in their eyes, furious at another life lost, Dempster said. The unrest came a month after a man who was shot, critically injured by a Memphis police officer during a traffic stop last year, was indicted on several charges. But was he convicted? Weeks-long protests broke out while a 25-year-old, I'm not going to butcher his first name, but his last name is Banks, was on life support after the shooting, the Appeal reported. And that is the extent of the article. Man, this is crazy. I'm trying to get back to that first one. No, they don't have it up there. But for the most part, this is nothing new. This happened down in Baltimore with Freddie Gray. Other places, Tamir Rice, and countless of others, law enforcement. If you do not know the history of law enforcement itself, it was started, law enforcement, police officers as we know them, was started to essentially police colored people. And I'm going to use that term because at the time, that's what we were considered. We were considered to be colored, or we were considered to be niggas. And it was, they wouldn't basically police the Caucasian areas or the well-off, well-to-do areas. It was always the poorest of the poor, the slums, and it was more than likely always people of color that they were police. Some they could be referred to way back as patty rollers, in some cases, or whatever. But this is not new. I can show you tons of videos where Caucasian men, women, they spit on police, they pulled knives on police, they pulled guns on police, they've used other weapons to, combat the police. And usually, a lot of time, if the gun is used, they're actually shot in the shoulder or the leg. I guess all that training goes out the window, regardless if you're a U.S. Marshal or not, which is even worse. It just turns on to shoot on sight, like make this nigga switch cheese for real. Basically, it's been reports that some law enforcement agencies, the targeting people when they go for target practice is pictures of young black men. We had, like I said, not so long ago, we had a quote unquote riot in Baltimore, which they lied and mishandled improperly. For many people that don't know, it was about Freddie Gray, which was national news. They took him on a rough ride, and that's what we call it. It's called the rough ride. It's when they put you in the paddy wagon and you're essentially handcuffed, shackled, but you're not restrained by anything. A lot of the times they would take people and just, basically, excuse my language in this video, they would fuck you up. They would whoop your ass and put you in a side and take you to a side of the town and just leave you there, or they would fuck you up before they took you in. That's what prompted them to put actual video cameras in the back of the paddy wagons now, and all of them have seatbelts now. Allegedly, supposedly. I don't know if they actually went through with all that, but they made it sound really good when they said it on TV. And my thing is that it's a shoot on sight policy with black people. It is. I can show you videos of, Caucasian counterparts. They having warrants, multi-warrants out on them. And they get taken into custody. Dylan Roof, the boy that shot up the church, he killed all them people, and they took this nigga to Burger King. I mean, you cannot hide this. You cannot hide this, and it's really crazy that we are dealing with this, and it's really crazy that it continues to go on, and I would just say, we are not our ancestors. We are not our grandparents. A lot of people is not going to take that anymore. This goes way deeper than the shootings that you see on television and that you hear about, and it usually gets swept underneath the rug after a couple of weeks or so because nobody really cares. They don't care. The general public doesn't care because it's not happening to them. And it was like, oh, he's a black guy, so they automatically gonna assume. And he had warrants out on him, not knowing what his criminal history is, not even taking the time or even indulging in the fact of even trying to find out what this man's past was. But he was an animal. He deserved to get shot. I'm glad they put him down. Like when Sandra Bland got assassinated, for a traffic stop that didn't even need to happen. She was being followed by the police officer, and she was assassinated because she was giving mouth. I can show you a couple of videos of that too, of them giving mouth, Caucasian people giving mouth to the police, and the police just stay there and take it and stuff like that. But no, it's basically shoot on sight. I did a video about a young man that was at a gas station and he was leaving, and this police took it upon himself to go and stop this man, draw his gun on him, like, oh, he has a gun. Oh, turn off your car so you can shoot him? Like you can't win from losing out here, and you can't, it's just so unbalanced. It's so unbalanced, and it's so, unfair that we have to do that. Like, we literally have targets on our back, and they look at us as animals, and they look at us as all the stereotypes. And FYI, if you don't know the original use for the word nigger, it did not apply to us. Nigger, the word nigger was originally applied to poor white trash. What we would consider to be poor white trash now. They were the niggas. We were just colorful. And the stereotypes, I can go into many stereotypes, like, this is just off topic, like King Kong was actually about a famous boxer, African American boxer back in the day, and he couldn't be beaten, but because he was black, he was never given the title of heavyweight champion of the world, and he just decimated everybody in his path, and he happened to have a fetish for white women. So that's where King Kong comes from. If you ever watched any King Kong movies and you like King Kong, that's essentially what you're looking at. Because we are referred to as apes, primates. Like I said, it goes way deeper than, this young man being killed for some wants and stuff like that. They don't care. They do not care about us. They do not care if we're spending money, if we're patronizing their businesses, making them wealthier and stuff like that. They don't even care about you then. They just want your money. You still a nigga. And then when this happens, I want to see how long it's going to take for the tap dancing token black niggas to come out, like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, because they ain't been for us for a long time. Actually, some of the things and steps that they took actually brought about the further demise of our people. But that's my personal opinion, or whatnot. And it's sad. We not only have other people working against us, we have our own people working against us as well. But I'm not going to keep you guys for too much longer. I would definitely like to know what you think about this story. R.I.P. to this man, this king. Everybody has a past. Everybody has done at least one thing, regardless if it got you in trouble with the police or not, that you're not proud of or not happy about. So, to each his own. But like I said, this is modern day lynching. Regardless, they just want to kill us. But they couldn't do a thing in this country without us. And let that sit on your mind. They want to kill us. They want to get rid of us. But this country wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for us. With that being said, I am Madam 81. Please drop down in the comments, like, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you guys later.
In the land of the free where the blacks enslaved. 3/5 of a man, I believe's the phrase. I'm 50% of Duce and it's debt free.